Welcome to the Candle Business Coach podcast. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, and I am the Candle Business Coach. I'm also a mum of three and a kindness advocator. This podcast is all about making and selling candles, business development, and mindset, delivered to you with advice, inspiration, and motivation in a new episode every Friday. This episode is brought to you by the membership for candle makers, the Candle Makers Collective. Becoming a member gives you access to fortnightly online group Q&A coaching sessions to support you, monthly online workshops and trainings to help you grow your business, plus frequent expert guest speakers to inspire and teach you. You'll also have access to an ever-growing resource library with templates, guides, planners, and ebooks. But my favorite aspect of the membership is our exclusive Facebook group for accountability, connection, and support. So if you're looking to take your candle business to the next level and learn more about the membership for candle makers, click the link in the show notes for the Candle Makers Collective. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Today we have another candle maker conversation, this time with the beautiful Louisa from White House Scents. Now, Louisa is not just a candle maker, she's also a professional photographer, and she's in the process of transitioning into candle making in a full-time capacity. At least that's the goal. But I'll let Louisa tell a little bit more about her story. So, Louisa, would you like to say hello to listeners?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Now, for those that may not know your journey or your story, do you want to share with us how you got started with candle making? Where did it all begin?
I have always loved candles and orchids, and literally I buy candles every week. Every time I go grocery shopping, I go straight to the room sprays and candles. So I burn candles every time because I'm a professional photographer, and when I edit, I like a really good ambience and I like a really nice and soothing scent. So it's the norm for me.
Yes, definitely. It's so interesting that the energy that candles can give off in terms of how we receive them and react to them and are relaxed by them is such a beautiful way to put yourself in the right mindset. And for you, it's when you're editing the photos, it helps you feel more calm and connected to your craft, which I love. So it seemed like a logical progression for you then to say, hey, I want to make candles. So tell us about that journey.
I have always wanted to start up a candle business because for the last couple of years, I've been making my own just because there are scents that I like, but it's not readily available in stores. So I like the soothing notes of eucalyptus and mint and all that right after a hard day's work. But I couldn't seem to find the perfect blend. So about a couple of years ago, I started to experiment and make my own candles and all that. And I really, really love the experience and the journey. And I keep on telling my daughter, I should start one. But, life happens. Here we are 2 years later.
That's okay. You're on the right journey for you. And when the timing is right to begin a new venture, things unfold and opportunities come up. And here we are chatting on the podcast 2 years after you first thought about it. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's quite challenging because it's really hard. It's a different kind of business where I'm service based for the last 14 years. I've had that journey. I've enjoyed it. It made me more confident. So the transition is kind of like hard and in a way easy as well, because now I'm actually selling a physical, tangible product where I can't just say, okay, here are the photos and this is what I do and all that. This one to me is also very personal because when you do market my photography business, it's also very personal to me because I made that thing and I thought it would be easier with a tangible product. But then again, because I made it, it's personal as well. So I can't get away from it.
I love that you've managed to combine two different loves in two different ways. And yes, you're passionate about your photography business, but you felt like you wanted something more from life. And so you went down this path. But I want to know, the White House Scents, where does the name come from? What does it mean to you?
Okay, my married name is actually Blanco, and Blanco is Spanish for white. And my entire house, like with couch and carpets and the furniture, it's like Hampton, it's all white. I just love how the light bounces through it. It gives you a different kind of ambience where the light just bounces through during the day, obviously, but it just gives you a really fresh feeling. So I'd say, oh, okay. So what would be the best name to actually name the candle business? And I also want to incorporate my personal aspect of it. So I said, okay, let's just see what we can get with Blanco. And then it's white. So I said, White House Scent. So I just made sense. It just fell into place.
Often that's where the best business names come from, is when it's personal to us, but it's still connecting to our customer and still relevant to what our products actually are. So I love how you've combined both the scents with the candles with the White House of what's important to you in your journey as well.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell us about the biggest win in your business so far?
My biggest win is that I actually, when I started to say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to dive head first. Obviously, I don't know anything about candle business, but I do have a background of marketing and, advertising through my photography business. So what I did first, instead of selling straight to the consumer, I actually approached my wedding vendors. So with the florists and hairdressers, everything, everything and everyone who has a storefront. And I just said, you know what? If I don't ask, the answer will always be no. And at the moment, it's about 99% yes.
Oh,
So
amazing.
yeah, so I just said, look, I'm starting this new side hustle. Hopefully it can transition to a full time and I'll slowly step back from photography. And they just said, yes, yes, we've always wanted a candle product here, but we want something that's local. So they don't want to go to the internet and say, buy wholesale and all that, not knowing the brand. So that it just fell into place.
I love that. I love how you started that story with it's going to be a no if I don't ask, or if I don't ask, it's always going to be a no. And it's so true, because so many candle makers I speak to have that fear of rejection. They don't want to be told, no, I don't want your candles in my store. I don't want to purchase your candles for myself. But if you never ask, just like you so beautifully put, Louisa, it's going to be a no anyway. So you might as well put yourself out there. You might as well ask the question. Be proud of your business, be proud of your products, and you just don't know where they're going to end up and the ripple effect that will come about from you being brave in that first instance.
The biggest thing that held me back as well from starting this business is the startup cost because, let's be real here. It's not cheap, doing the testing. I spent hundreds of dollars in the last couple of years just testing one candle. You know what I mean? Like different kinds of vessels. Now that when I made into a business, you're not talking about one candle and 6 weeks. You're talking about different kinds of vessels and different kinds of things, and the cost is massive. It's just something that I said that, okay, my savings, whatever is left there, it's either go hard or die hard.
To run a candle business, there are different costs involved. And when you start to increase the amount of fragrances that you offer, you
Oh
then need to
gosh, yeah.
purchase more fragrances, more wicks, more vessels, and the costs can skyrocket if you are wanting to bring out a larger range than perhaps a smaller range. But also, it's exciting buying those products and buying those supplies. We want to buy them. We want to smell all the fragrances. We want to immerse ourselves in the experience. Would you say that that's one of your current challenges?
I apologize if I keep on comparing it through my photography business, but it feels like I'm experiencing exactly the same journey. So with photography, it took me not 1 year, not 2 years, it took me a good 6 years to find my style. So when people look at my work, they know it's my work. because you have this editing style and the way you shoot and all that, and it's exactly the same as my candle. So with my candles, I want to be very specific, and it took me, I'd say, about 6 months to actually figure out how am I gonna stand out. There's a million. I tried the markets. There's no space because there's like gazillion candle makers. So it's finding the vessel, it's finding the fragrance that also represents me. I just don't want to buy all the fragrances that everybody has. And I just want to make it different. So I think the biggest challenge, and I'm still evolving, Kirsty, nothing is set in stone. So I do have like, I did put all my classics. So there's classic, 8 classic scents, and that's going to be available all year round. And then sometimes I get bored because it's all white and it's all this and that. And then, oh, okay, I really want to do this as well. So I think it's just zeroing in and being confident with what you have. So it's exactly the same as my photos. Oh my gosh, they opened the gallery, but I haven't had a reply. And it's exactly the same as candles. Will they like it? Will they like the smell? Did they burn it correctly? It's all that. And as a creative, we are the biggest critique of our work. At the end of the day, it's the same vessel as what, it's not a special vessel because everybody can just buy it and it's exactly the same fragrance. But I think it's the spin-off that you do with your work. And to me, it's how you represent yourself and your business and your brand. And in the end, it's you. They are buying you. They're not buying your product. They are buying you, exactly the same as my photography business. People will not go because it's not me. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I'm saying I just have a gift of the gab where, I make them feel welcome and I'm very authentic. And I always have a bridal consult because I'm not for everyone. And it's the same as my product as well. It's not for everyone. So I think it's finding you, if I should say.
Yeah.
Do I make sense?
Perfect sense. I'm sitting here nodding because I'm in total agreement with what you're saying. It's when we think that everyone is our customer, then we dilute ourselves in the marketplace and we don't necessarily talk to who we're supposed to be talking to with our branding, with our messaging when we're actually at markets or we're talking about our business in person. When you can narrow down who is your ideal target market or your target audience and really connecting with that person or those type of people, that's where the connections are made. That's where the community is built. And that's where the sales are found. It's not just, I'm going to make a product, everyone's going to love it, I'm going to sell millions of dollars worth of product. That would be amazing if it worked like that. But then if it was that easy, everyone would do it.
That's what I was going to say. Everybody will be doing it.
We've said on this podcast many times, but it still rings true. Having a business, candle business or photography business or any business requires personal growth and for self-awareness, self-reflection, self-belief and confidence, like you say, Louisa. And when you're confident in who you are, your messaging, your product, it becomes a lot easier to stand behind your candles and say, look, this is what I'm offering to the marketplace. I know I'm not for everyone, but if this resonates with you, if you resonate with me, then we will have that connection and then you'll be able to buy products from me and my business. So I love that you're drawing parallels between your photography business and your candle business and that you've got that experience behind you to be able to draw from because not everyone has another business.
It's exactly the same growing pains, Kirsty. With photography, I tell you, it's like no word of a lie. It's probably 100 times financial investment rather than the candles as well. So, you just, if you want to do it, you're just going to have, if it feels right, 2 years ago, it didn't feel right. It just did not feel, it would have been the perfect time to do it because it was COVID and everyone's inside and you can't barter, you can't shoot, you can't do anything. And I think that, online business actually boomed. And what I did, I was buying rare plants and spending money. but it didn't feel right, and I trusted my gut instinct, so I didn't do it. And now, because during the winter photography goes slow, so it kind of like stagnant for the winter. So I go, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So I bought the kit and I never looked back.
That's amazing. What are your goals for your business? Where do you see this journey taking you?
I would really slowly transition to doing this. My body is getting older, and I can't be shooting weddings back to back Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And now the biggest thing now is on a Thursday. So, 14 years down my belt, and I am tired, physically tired. Running a business is 24/7 regarding what business it is. And I just want to enjoy family more. I just want to stay home more. I don't want to travel anymore. We used to do destination weddings, and I'm out of the country probably 8, 9 times a year. I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to stay home and enjoy, what I have. The most important thing is family. And, I have missed so many birthdays. I have missed anniversary. I missed my own anniversary.
Oh no.
um the last 14 years I've missed a lot of things because I'm out there documenting somebody else's special day. So 14 years, I think it's time. So I just want to enjoy more. My grandbabies, my kids, they're slowly coming. They go out, they move out, and then it seems like every weekend they're back in here, and I go, don't you have a house? But anyway, so they're trying to come back now every weekend to see us, and I just want to be home because weekends is my weekdays. So I think I had a health scare probably about 2 years ago, and that was the time I said, okay, what can I do? I don't want to go back into the medical field. Don't want to be locked up in a lab. That's why I switched to photography. So I said, I need to do something that I really love and I really enjoy, that I could stay home, do whatever I want, be with family. So I think my biggest goal is that it would actually supplement or even replace my photography income. That would be probably my 5 year goal. That's a long term goal for me.
I
But
love
for now,
that.
I'll, one step at a time. It's nice to dream big, but sometimes too, you really have to, put your feet down the ground and say, look, let's be realistic here. But I've got short term goals and I've got long term goals, but the long term goal will be that. So I've given myself a good 5 years for that.
I think it's so important to have those short and long-term goals and also be able to distinguish what's actually achievable in the time that you have set. If you had said, I want to have this as my full-time income in the next 6 months, yes, it is doable. Some people can do it, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of money and a lot of
Mm-hmm,
hustling. And
mm-hmm,
if you're willing to work 24 hours
mm-hmm,
of every day, promoting your
mm-hmm.
business, promoting your products, doing all the marketing, doing all the advertising, doing all the things, yeah, sure, you'll reach your goals a lot
Absolutely.
faster, but you will burn out. You will run yourself into the ground and you probably won't enjoy the journey half as much if it's over or if you reach that destination a lot quicker. I think what's lovely about having a slow burn business, pardon the pun, is that you enjoy it a lot more and it's more sustainable and it's possible and it's beautiful and it's a journey. It's not just let's quickly get to the destination because it's, as a saying is, it's as a saying goes rather, it's about the journey, not the destination. So I love that you've got a plan and a goal, but you're being realistic with the timelines.
Yeah, I know it. And I don't want to burn out because I hope none of my bride or grooms are listening to this podcast. But I'm to a point now where I don't want to do it anymore. But it's just like being in a job, in a 9 to 5, where you wake up and it's like, oh gosh, I have to go to work. And that's where I'm at right now in photography. It's like, oh, like I don't want to do it anymore. So, and I know myself. If I don't want it, I would just say, okay, I'm done. So I'm just diverting my mindset into a more exciting and inspiring other, because I'm a creative. So I'm trying to divert myself so that I can tell myself, look, if you don't go shoot, you won't have money to buy your vessels. Kind of like in a way where it also pushes me, but I really am in this at the stage right now that I really, really want to finish up with photography. It is a cutthroat business right now because it's, with inflation and all that, people won't, we're a luxury business, so people won't die if they don't have family portraits. And most of the weddings as well too, they're cutting down on hours. So I think it's time for me to move. And I think too, it's the universe telling me, hey, remember that candle business that you've always wanted to work on? Well, now is the time.
It's so interesting chatting with you about how you're currently feeling about your photography business, because I can imagine 14 years ago, you would have been so passionate and excited, waking up every day, grateful for the journey you were on. But as with many things in life, we have chapters to different things that we do. And as one chapter closes, another opens. So you're at this beautiful transition stage between photography and candle business. And as the candle business becomes more busy and more productive and more profitable and more sustainable, you will be able to gradually let go of the photography until it's a complete switchover. Are you ready for personalised support for your candle making journey? Hi there, my friend. I'm Kirsty Allen, the Candle Business Coach, and I help candle makers like you with mindset and business strategy, as well as troubleshooting your candle making struggles. With my private coaching, we'll work together to set and achieve your goals. And whether you need a single session for clarity or a series of sessions for ongoing support, I'm here to help you every step of the way. Check out the show notes for details of my private coaching sessions and packages, and let's achieve your goals one candle at a time. When it comes to running your business, your candle business specifically, how do you fit it in? Because obviously, like you mentioned, you've got family, you've got the photography business. How do you prioritize time in the candle business?
I have a really weird hours that I push myself. I am a night owl, so usually I don't go to bed till probably about 12:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. It's not because that's how my body works, it's because I'm also insomniac. So what I do is that I usually have, I know it's really bad, but I have like about 5 hours sleep every day because I wake up, have my coffee, do my yoga, do meditation, and then do my exercises for about 15, 20 minutes. That's all I can handle. And then I eat the frog by 7 o'clock in the morning. So what I need to do the hardest is what I go first. So those little minions that can wait till the next day, if I don't get it done, then I'll do it tomorrow. But the very first thing that I have to do would be the first thing on the board. So if I do that, then I get really inspired that, oh, that's not too bad. Let's do the next step and the next step and the next step. And then I stop. Photography at the moment, I shoot now between 3 to probably about 4:30 in the afternoon on location. So that's an hour and a half. I do outsource my editing now for the last 5 years. So what I do, file straight, I don't look at it, and that's when I do my candle at night. So have the heater on because it's so cold, and you know how it is with science and candles. So that's when I do my production always on a Monday and a Wednesday, and then I do admin on a Friday, and then Saturday it would be just family.
I love how you're prioritizing what is most important to you and to so many of us is family. And yet we still get so much love and satisfaction and joy from working in our business or our businesses. And when you're able to have a structure and a system and follow processes, it doesn't have to be exactly the same every day or every week. But if you can at least organize yourself and your thoughts and get things done and get things moving and take that action, that's where you'll start to move the needle in your business and start to really make great headway towards your goals.
That's true. And I have learned this too through my other business. So I'm lucky in a way that I have a little bit of a backbone and that what I needed to do, or else it would be starting from scratch. So I need to, number one is discipline. If I want to get things done, running two businesses at a time and doing other things in the house, dealing with life, I have to be disciplined or else I won't get anywhere. So I ask myself every morning, where do you want to be? If you want to be where you want to be, then, head down, bum up.
Yes, 100%. Discipline, sacrifice, prioritizing, laser focus. These are all things that are so important. And when you've got big goals, it's almost a little bit easier than when you have vague goals or just, not quite sure what you want. You're just enjoying the journey and going along for the ride. As much as that's enjoyable, when you've got a goal that you're focused on and you know what you want for your life and for your business, it's a lot easier to stay focused and move towards that direction rather than I'm just going to go with the flow, if you will.
Yeah. To me, the first thing that I did was clarity.
Yes.
What I want, where I want to be, and how am I going to achieve it?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the main theme. So if this was just a hobby, I wouldn't be here talking to you. Well, because it's just, there's no, it also, because I have a timeline, I have a specific timeline, and I know I can't dilly dally. If I was married to a millionaire, I can just say, oh, okay, I'll make a dozen candles today. And well, if nobody buys on the internet, online, well, oh well. But I have a specific timeline that I need to achieve. And those are big goals because literally that big goal, I'll be happy if I get 60% of that big goal. So I've read this book, The 10 Times Rule. And they said that what your marketing is your goal, you do that 10 times because if you fail, you're still ahead of your goal. So, yeah, so it's hard. It's personal. That's the thing. It's very personal because you're making it. And you just have to take the road less traveled because if you want to get to your goal, you have to be focused and you have to be serious. So,
that's really great advice. What's your favorite thing about what you do?
as a candle maker, I can actually work in my pajamas.
Isn't it the best?
Especially during the winter, I just have to, when I do BTS, I just want to make sure that, my socks is in the right place and all that. But I just love that I'm not in a hurry all the time. Although I do have a thing where I make small batches. I don't make a ridiculous, 100 in a night or in a day or what have you. But I just take my time. And that is the time, that's actually my downtime, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's my downtime because my mind is not worrying about, oh my gosh, do I have sales? Oh my gosh, did one stockist actually sell? So it diverts, it switches off my business mindset into the creative one. We are all creatives, obviously. And no, I don't want to deal with the business side. If I had the money, I would be, hiring SEO people and marketing people and all that. I just want to make candles because that's, you know what I mean? And that's my downtime. That's what I love about it. It is my downtime. It actually diverts my headspace into a more soothing and to a creative way. So, and then I'm in my pajamas.
It truly is the best of both worlds. Tell me, what gives you motivation to keep going when things get tough in your business or in your life?
What I do if I'm really in a really low mood, like everybody else of their, downside of the thing where you think, oh gosh, I'm not getting anywhere. I worked so hard on my SEO. I worked so hard on this, but feels like I'm not getting anywhere. So what I usually do, I just step back, just take a break, step back, and I just recompose my mindset, and I just ask myself again, would you really want to do this? Because if you do, you have to work on it. If you don't, you might as well hang up the towel. And the answer is always, I quit every day, Kirsty. Don't get me wrong. Now I don't want to do this anymore. The next day, oh, I looked at that Christmas vessel. I really want to do it. But,
Yeah.
I quit every day. And then the next day it would be the same thing. It'd be, oh gosh, let me see my da. But it's not motivation. It's because I love doing it. And
Hmm.
it's the creative side of me. So, of course, everybody wants to have like thousands of dollars sales every day, don't you?
Of course.
But yeah, but you're just gonna have to hang in there, and I know it will work. I really do know it will work if I work on it.
Absolutely. That's the key. That is the difference
Yeah,
between it working
ab-
and failing. Yeah.
absolutely. I know it
Hmm.
will work, but it will. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in a year, maybe in 6 months. But I know it will work. So
Hmm.
just waiting for that timing.
Yes. And having that faith and then taking the action is what's the key. Like you can have big goals and big dreams and big desires for your life, but if you're not actually taking action, learning, growing, pivoting, evolving as you go, you're not going to reach any of your goals. It's just going to be a dream in your mind.
Absolutely, I agree.
Mhm. How do you define success?
To me, it's really contentment. If I'm contented with what, like X amount of dollars a year, it might not be millions, it might be just to replace my photography income. To me, I'm successful. But people have this mindset of saying, you know, building an empire and all that. It's a different definition. But for me, if I'm happy where I'm at, wherever my goal is, I think that would be success for me. And of course, when people love your product, I really want them to love my product. So if they're happy with that, and my end, I'm also getting my end of the happiness, to me, that's success. Different people got different definition of success. Millions would be great, but a replacement of my photography income, I would say it would be a success.
And then that's the launching pad for the millions. First, we get to replacing the income, then we build the
Yes,
empire from there.
yes,
You can't jump that step. It has to be in order.
not, not, yes.
Louisa, we've come to one of my favorite parts of the podcast where I ask all my guests 3 questions relating to candles. Question number 1, what is your favorite candle fragrance?
My very, very first one would be the vanilla patchouli and the sandalwood.
Beautiful.
I am actually in the process of launching my Island Breeze collection. It hasn't launched yet, but I am loving the lemongrass and Persian lime. That
Hmm.
is, to me, it just transports me to the tropics.
Question number 2, what do you love about candles?
To me, it's mood changing, really. I mean, when you have a really bad day and all that, I hate to admit this, but I do sulk in my room, in my bedroom, put on Netflix, and just light up, my favorite scent. It just changes the mood.
They're very powerful, those beautiful little candles.
Absolutely.
And then the last question is, what is one piece of advice you'd like to give to other candle makers?
Ooh, I would say if they're going to do this as a business and not as a hobby, is get your ducks in line. Obviously, aside from the testing and all that, you have to zero in on your goal and take action. And trust me, I've run 2 businesses. No matter whether what background you are, you will need a coach. I'm not just saying this, Kirsty, because you're in front of my face, but I'm telling you, if you are the person who knows everything in one room, then you're in the wrong room. There's always room for learning. And if you don't have, especially when you don't have a business background, which I don't, coach, I have spent so much money on coaches, photography side of it. And I'm telling you, they are worth every single penny because they actually pull you from the creative side, because you can't have your creation if you don't have the means to support that creation. And the only way to support that creation is sales, right? So they will have the map on how to get there. Because as a creative, Kirsty, you know that all you want to do is just make candles, buy beautiful vessels and all that, not knowing about the business side. But you won't have a business if you don't know where the roadmap would be.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I did with you. And because it's a different kind of structure when it comes to a product based business. I have no idea about e-commerce. I have no idea about wholesale. I have no idea about everything else. And I'm still learning, even though I have a bit of a background on selling, obviously with the photography side. There are still a lot of loopholes that I don't really understand. So, number one, get your coaches first, get advice, and then they will guide you throughout your journey. And it's not going to be an overnight success. There will be a lot of tears and a lot of kaching coming out, but just hang in there. If you're really, really passionate about this, you will get there. And just hang in there and join a lot of Facebook groups and a lot of things where all creatives actually bounce off each other, because you have to remember, it's not competition, it's about community, it's about helping people, it's about, hey, this is what happened, what should I do? And that is a lot of help. And I've learned a lot on the Facebook groups. Kirsty, you can't do it alone. Definitely you can't do it alone.
Not
Never.
alone.
So you have to take the creative side out if you want to succeed. Get your business in line first before we think about the dollars coming in. That's because that's what I'm saying is that's what the biggest mistake that I did with photography. I thought that, okay, just click, 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 edit, edit, edit. Money's coming in. And then, I started from the very bottom where many people are now, that you're charging next to nothing. And then here you are burning yourself out, doing like gazillion shoots for like $200. You'll burn yourself out, and then it takes away the passion, and it takes away the fun, and it takes away the great experience. And that's when I said, well, no, enough is enough. Grabbed a coach, and then I did everything wrong. So I made sure when I started this candle business is I made sure that the business side I made it as a foundation before I go into the creative side. So get that in first before you think about making, what kind of collections you're going to put in, blah, 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 blah. So I think the business side is more important before, thinking about selling it to the public.
And it's such a hard realization to come to, because we want to do the fun stuff. We don't want to do the boring admin or the boring register my business name and all those things. Like we want to make the candles, we want to play with the fragrance oils, and we want to burn the candles that we're making.
Yes.
But like you said, you've got to have your ducks lined up in a row. You've got to do it in a logical order, even though our emotions are running wild.
Yes, absolutely. I made that mistake, and I have wasted 5 years, and I don't want to do it again in this candle business.
Definitely. Louisa, thank you so much for being on the podcast tonight. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and I just know the listeners will love to connect in with you. So where can we find you online?
Thank you again, Kirsty, for having me. You can find me on Instagram at whitehouse_scent, and then also online, whitehousescents.com.au.
Thank you so much again for being on the podcast. I can't wait to hear the listeners' feedback when the episode comes out.
Thank you so much, Kirsty, for having me.
Thank you, my friend, for listening to this episode. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout the conversation, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you're feeling inspired, I would love it if you would write a review for the podcast and give a 5-star rating. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.